My stepdaughter replaced me with her biological father at her engagement party, then publicly humiliated me, saying, "You were never a father to me." But when her wedding fell apart, I wasn't there to help. Hey, Reddit. I never thought I'd be the type of guy to post something like this, but here I am. Maybe I just need to get this off my chest, or maybe I want someone to tell me I'm not crazy for feeling this way. Either way, here goes. My name's Robert. I'm 45, married, was more on that later, and I've spent the last 20 years of my life raising a daughter who isn't biologically mine. Anna, my stepdaughter. My little girl. At least, I thought she was. I met her mother, Sarah, when Anna was just 6. Her biological father, Mark, walked out before she even started kindergarten. Never called. Never sent a birthday card. Nothing. Just vanished. I stepped in. I was the one who held her hand on the first day of school when she was too scared to go inside. I stayed up with her when she had the flu, rocking her to sleep on the couch while she burned up with fever. I paid for her violin lessons, even though she quit after 3 months. I taught her how to ride a bike. I clapped the loudest at her high school graduation. I paid for her college, helped her move into her first apartment. I was dad. At least, until last Saturday. Until the night she made it very clear to everyone in the room that I was nothing. The engagement party from hell. Anna just got engaged to her boyfriend, Ethan. Decent guy, smart, treats her well, no complaints there. She wanted a big engagement party, something fancy. I was happy for her, proud even. I thought I'd be sitting at the main table, right next to her and Sarah. I thought I'd be the one she'd thank in her speech. I thought wrong. The party was huge. A fancy venue, a live band, overpriced catering, the whole deal. I walked in expecting to be seated near her. Instead, I found my name card at a table near the exit, wedged between Sarah's distant cousins and some plus ones I didn't even know. I tried to shake it off. Maybe it's a mistake, I told myself. She's probably just overwhelmed with the planning. But then, about an hour in, she gets up to make a speech. She raises her glass, smiling at the crowd, and says, "I just want to take a moment to thank everyone who has supported me, who has always been there, no matter what. And most of all, I want to thank my real father, Mark, for coming tonight. I love you, Dad." I swear, for a second, I thought I misheard. But nope. People clapped. Some even cheered. And then he stood up. Mark. The man who disappeared off the face of the earth when Anna was a kid. The guy who didn't even send her not even a single Christmas card. He strutted up to her like he belonged there, and she hugged him like he was the greatest man alive. I felt like I was suffocating. I turned to Sarah, waiting for her to say something, to look even a little bit guilty. But she just sipped her wine and mumbled, "Don't take it personally, Robert. Don't take it personally." I sat there, frozen, while guests lined up to take photos with Anna and her real father. And then it got worse. I waited for the crowd to clear a little, then walked up, forcing a smile. "Hey, sweetheart. Can we get a quick picture together?" She barely looked at me before flashing this fake, almost pitying smile. "Oh. Sorry, Robert, but I want a picture with my real family." And just like that, I was nothing. People laughed. Someone even muttered, "Oof, that's rough." Mark grinned, throwing an arm around Anna like he'd been there her whole life. Sarah? She just sat there. Didn't say a word. I swallowed hard, nodded, and walked back to my table. I don't remember much of the rest of the night. Just that I left early, and that nobody even noticed. I've done everything for that girl. And in front of everyone, she erased me. And the worst part? I still wasn't ready for what came next. I didn't sleep that night. After I left the party, I drove around aimlessly for hours, replaying it over and over in my head. The laughter. The look on Anna's face when she dismissed me like I was some distant uncle. The way Mark basked in the attention, like he was actually proud of himself. By the time I got home, Sarah was already in bed. I stood in the doorway of our bedroom, staring at her in the dim light. She was scrolling through her phone like nothing had happened. "Were you ever going to say anything?" I finally asked. She sighed, setting her phone down. "Robert, it's not a big deal." I laughed, but there was nothing funny about it. "Not a big deal?" I repeated. "She humiliated me in front of everyone, and you just sat there." Sarah pinched the bridge of her nose like I was being unreasonable. She didn't mean it like that. She just wanted a perfect night, and you know how she feels about Mark. She feels about him? I snapped. The guy who left her? The guy who didn't even call her for 15 years? That's who she wants to play dad now. Sarah exhaled slowly, like she was tired of this conversation already. "Robert, Please don't turn this into something it's not. I ran a hand through my hair, trying to control the storm of emotions inside me. She erased me, Sarah. In front of everyone. And you let her. She finally looked up at me then. Not with guilt. Not with regret. Just exhaustion. She's an adult now, she said flatly. She can make her own choices. I stared at her, waiting for some flicker of realization. Some moment where she'd understand how deep this cut me. Nothing. It was in that moment that I knew. I didn't just lose Anna that night. I lost Sarah, too. The fallout begins. The next morning, I woke up to a text from Anna. Hope you got home safe. Sorry if last night upset you, but it was important for me to honor my real father. Hope you understand. Hope I understand. I stared at the message, debating whether to respond. I wanted to tell her everything I was feeling, that she had gutted me, that she had taken 20 years of my love and thrown it away like it was nothing. Instead, I just put my phone down. I wasn't going to beg. By the afternoon, I started getting messages from family members. Some were sympathetic. That was really unfair to you, man. I don't know why she did that. You raised her. Others? Not so much. You shouldn't make this about you. She just wanted a special night, Robert. Let it go. Let it go. Let go of 2 decades of sacrifices. Let go of every bedtime story, every scraped knee I bandaged, every time I showed up while Mark disappeared without a trace. Yeah, sure. I didn't respond to any of them. I couldn't. Then, later that evening, Sarah tried to act like nothing happened. I was sitting at the kitchen table, still trying to wrap my head around everything, when she walked in like it was just another day. What do you want for dinner? She asked, opening the fridge. I looked at her, half expecting her to say something else. She didn't. No apology. No acknowledgement of what happened. Just dinner. I closed my eyes, exhaling through my nose. I'm not hungry. She shut the fridge with a little too much force. Are you seriously still sulking about this? Something inside me snapped. Sarah, do you even care what she did to me? I asked, my voice sharper than I intended. She groaned, rubbing her temples. God, Robert, not everything is about you. I pushed back my chair and stood up. You know what? I said, shaking my head. You're right. It's not. It's about Anna, and how she made it very clear that I don't belong in her life anymore. She was just caught up in the moment. Sarah tried to argue. She loves you, Robert. She. No, I cut in. She doesn't. And maybe that's fine. Maybe she never did. But I'm done pretending like I don't see it. Sarah crossed her arms. And what does that mean? I looked at her, really looked at her. The woman I had built a life with. The woman I thought I knew. And for the first time, I saw nothing. It means, I said slowly, I'm done being the fool in this family. Then I grabbed my jacket, walked out the door, and drove away. For the first time in years, I didn't know where I was going. But I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't coming back. I checked into a motel that night. Not because I had nowhere else to go. I had plenty of friends who would have let me crash, but because I needed to be alone. I needed to sit in that silence and really let it sink in. Anna didn't love me. Sarah never really had my back. I wasn't part of that family. Not anymore. I laid on the stiff motel bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying the last 20 years of my life. The Christmas mornings. The birthdays. The scraped knees. The long nights when Anna cried about a boy breaking her heart, and I told her she was worth more than some high school idiot who didn't see it. All of it, gone. And for what? Because Mark, deadbeat Mark, had shown up for one night and stolen the spot I had earned over 2 decades? I clenched my jaw, forcing the bitterness down. I wouldn't let it consume me. The last goodbye. The next morning, I went back to the house. Not to fight. Not to talk. To pack. I walked in, and for the first time in years, it didn't feel like home. The furniture, the pictures on the wall, the smell of coffee, none of it belonged to me anymore. Sarah was sitting at the kitchen table with her coffee, scrolling through her phone. She looked up when I came in, and for a second, her eyes widened in surprise. Robert, she said slowly, you didn't come home last night. No, I said, walking past her toward the bedroom. I didn't. I heard her set her mug down a little too hard. So what? You're just going to ignore me now? I didn't answer. I grabbed a suitcase from the closet and started throwing my clothes inside. That was when she finally walked in, arms crossed, leaning against the doorframe. You're being ridiculous, she said. You're really going to do this? Over one night? I zipped the suitcase. It wasn't just one night, Sarah. It was every night before it, leading up to this. She scoffed. Oh, don't be dramatic. I turned to face her, taking a slow breath. Dramatic? Sarah, she humiliated me. In front of everyone. And you sat there. You let it happen. Her expression hardened. I didn't let anything happen. She wanted her moment, Robert. She wanted to celebrate with the father she never had. I laughed. A short, bitter sound. The father she never had? Are you hearing yourself? I was her father. I raised her. She didn't mean it the way you're taking it. I shook my head. Then tell me, Sarah. How exactly did she mean it? She opened her mouth, closed it, exhaled, and in that moment, I saw the truth. She knew I was right, but she was too proud to admit it. I nodded slowly. That's what I thought. I walked past her, grabbing my suitcase. Where are you going? She demanded. Away, I said simply. Robert, she snapped, following me down the hall. You're not thinking this through. I stopped at the front door, turning back. No, Sarah, I said quietly. For the first time in years, I am. I opened the door, stepped outside, and didn't look back. No more second chances. For the first week, I didn't tell anyone where I was. I shut my phone off. Checked into a small Airbnb on the other side of town. Just existed. Then the messages started. Sarah, are you really doing this? Sarah, you're being childish. Come home. Anna. Hey, I heard you left. Are you okay? Anna, I didn't mean to upset you. But you're overreacting. Sarah, you're embarrassing yourself. Grow up. I didn't answer any of them. Then, on day 10, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't pick up, but something told me to. Hello, Robert. A voice I hadn't expected. A voice I hadn't heard in years. Lauren, Sarah's sister. The one person who saw everything. Lauren was always the only one in Sarah's family who actually treated me like a human being. She never bought into Anna's worship of Mark. She always rolled her eyes when Sarah made excuses for Anna's selfishness. She saw through all of it. And now, she was calling me. Lauren, I said, confused. Why are you? I heard what happened, she said. Sarah told me you left. Are you okay? I exhaled, rubbing my temples. I don't know. I figured, she said. Listen. I don't know if you need to hear this, but you deserved better than that. Something inside me cracked. I didn't realize how much I needed to hear those words until she said them. I don't know what to do, I admitted. I wasted 20 years on them. You didn't waste it, she said. You gave love to people who didn't appreciate it. That's on them, not you. I swallowed the lump in my throat. Yeah. There was a pause. Then, carefully, she asked. Where are you? I hesitated. But then I realized Lauren was the only one I actually trusted. So I told her. And that one conversation? It changed everything. Lauren showed up that evening. I didn't ask her to, but I wasn't surprised. She had always been the kind of person who did what she thought was right, even when no one asked her to. I heard the knock, opened the door, and there she was, standing on the porch of my small Airbnb, a takeout bag in one hand, a six-pack of beer in the other. You looked like you could use this, she said. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. You have no idea. I stepped aside, letting her in. She set the food on the table, then turned to me, crossing her arms. So, what's the plan? I rubbed a hand over my face. I don't know, Lauren. I've been living on autopilot since I left. I don't know where to go from here. She nodded like she understood. You're not going back, are you? I hesitated. No. Good. She exhaled, leaning against the table. They don't deserve you. I let out a hollow laugh. You're the first person to say that out loud. She scoffed. Robert, I've been saying it for years. You just weren't ready to hear it. She wasn't wrong. Lauren had always seen through the nonsense. When Anna manipulated Sarah, when Mark was suddenly the hero, when Sarah refused to stand up for me, Lauren was the only one who ever called it what it was. And I ignored it. I sank into the chair across from her, staring at my hands. I gave them everything, Lauren, and I got nothing. She sat down, too. That's not true. You got proof. I frowned. Proof of what? She tilted her head. That they never really saw you as family. That no matter what you did, you were always just a placeholder. It sucks, Robert. But at least now you know. I stared at her, letting the words settle in. She was right. For 20 years, I let them string me along, hoping that someday I'd be enough. That someday Anna would wake up and realize who had really been there for her. That Sarah would stop making excuses. That day never came. I sighed, running a hand through my hair. I should have left years ago. Lauren gave me a sad smile. Maybe. But you're leaving now. That's what matters. She pushed the takeout toward me. Now shut up and eat. You look like hell. For the first time in a long time, I laughed. The final straw. I spent the next week looking for apartments. I wasn't going back to that house, to that family. Sarah could keep it. But just when I thought I was finally moving on, they pulled me back in. It happened on a Wednesday. I was sitting in a coffee shop, scrolling through apartment listings when my phone buzzed. Anna. I ignored it. Then came another. Sarah. Then another. And another. By the time I checked my notifications, I had 13 missed calls. Something was wrong. I hesitated, then finally answered the next call. What? It was Sarah, and she sounded frantic. Robert, you need to talk to Anna. I clenched my jaw. I don't need to do anything. Please, she begged. She needs you. I almost hung up right then, but something in her voice made me stop. Against my better judgment, I exhaled. What happened? Sarah hesitated. Then, Ethan called off the wedding. I blinked. What? He cheated on her, she said, voice shaking. She's devastated. She keeps calling Mark, but he won't answer. She needs you, Robert. Please. I let out a slow breath. Anna. The same Anna who humiliated me in front of everyone. The same Anna who erased me from her life the second Mark walked back in. Now, she needed me. I should have felt bad for her. I didn't. I was done being her backup plan. So I said the only thing I could. Not my problem. Sarah inhaled sharply. Robert. I hung up. I sat there for a moment, staring at my phone. My heart was pounding. Then I did something I should have done years ago. I blocked her number. Then I blocked Anna's. Then Mark's, just for good measure. I had wasted 20 years of my life waiting for them to see me. I wasn't wasting another second. A new beginning. That night, I got a text. Lauren, proud of you. I smiled. I didn't know where my life was going next. But for the first time in years, it was mine. After I blocked them, I expected some kind of peace. Instead, I got chaos. I should have known that Anna, Sarah, and their flying monkeys wouldn't just accept my silence. I had been their reliable punching bag for 20 years. They weren't going to let me walk away without a fight. The desperate messages. The first few days were quiet. Then, out of nowhere, I got an email. From Anna. Subject, please, Robert. I know you're mad at me. I know I hurt you. But please, just talk to me. I don't know what to do. Ethan left, and Dad, Mark, isn't answering my calls. I feel like I have no one. I'm sorry. I really am. I need you. I stared at the message for a long time. Where was this energy at the engagement party? Where was the I need you when she was grinning and telling me I wasn't part of her real family? I almost replied. Almost. Then I remembered the laughter at that party. The way she had looked at me like I was a joke. So I deleted the email. An hour later, another one came in. Then a text from a random number. Then another email. By the end of the week, I had over 20 unread messages from Anna, all variations of, I miss you. Please don't do this. I made a mistake. I need my dad. Oh, now I'm dad, again? I didn't reply to a single one. And that's when the real insanity started. Sarah's meltdown. One night, while I was out grabbing dinner, my phone rang. Sarah. Blocked number. Straight to voicemail. Then a call from another unknown number. Straight to voicemail. Then a text. Pick up the phone, Robert. I rolled my eyes, set my phone down, and kept eating. A few minutes later, another text. You need to fix this. She's your daughter. I sighed, but I didn't respond. Then, 10 minutes later, a final message came through. I hope she never forgives you. And just like that, I knew Sarah wasn't sorry about anything. She didn't care that Anna hurt me. She didn't care that I spent 2 decades sacrificing for a girl who tossed me aside like trash. She just cared that I wasn't playing my role anymore. The plot twist I didn't see coming. Just when I thought things were finally settling down, something happened that I never could have predicted. Lauren called me. She sounded breathless, almost excited. Robert, she said, you're not going to believe this. What? I asked, already bracing for whatever fresh disaster was coming. It's Mark, she said, laughing. He didn't just ignore Anna's calls. He blocked her. I blinked. What? He played the loving dad, for one night, got all the praise, and then dipped. I let out a slow breath, processing that. So she threw me away for a guy who couldn't even pretend to care for more than an hour? Yup. I laughed. I actually laughed. I had spent years believing that one day, Anna would wake up and realize Mark was a fraud. that she'd see me for who I really was. And now, it finally happened. And I didn't care. I was done waiting for her to see my worth. A wedding no more. A month passed. I found a new place, started focusing on my life. I reconnected with old friends, started a hobby I had always put off, motorcycle riding, because why not? And then one day, Lauren sent me a link. A news article. Local wedding venue sues bride for breach of contract. And there it was. Anna's wedding? Cancelled. Apparently, Ethan had moved on fast. Like, cheating before the engagement party was over fast. He was already seeing someone else. Anna? She lost her deposit, lost her dream venue, and lost her mind. I almost felt bad. Almost. The icing on the cake. One evening, I was at a bar with Lauren, just catching up, when she suddenly smirked. So, I've been meaning to tell you something, she said, taking a sip of her drink. I raised an eyebrow. That sounds ominous. She grinned. I filed for divorce. I blinked. Wait. What? Yeah, she said, shrugging like it was no big deal. I've been done with my marriage for years, Robert. Watching you finally walk away from people who didn't appreciate you made me realize, why am I still married to someone who treats me like an afterthought? I stared at her for a second. Then I smirked. So, wait. You're single now. She grinned back. You catching on, genius? I laughed, shaking my head. Well, wow. She clinked her glass against mine. To new beginnings. To new beginnings, I agreed. Final thoughts. I never imagined my life turning out like this. I never imagined I'd walk away from my wife, my stepdaughter, and everything I thought was my family. I never imagined that the woman who actually saw my worth had been right in front of me this whole time. But here's what I've learned. Some people will never appreciate you until you're gone. Some people will never change. And sometimes, the best revenge is moving the hell on. So that's exactly what I did. And for the first time in 20 years, I'm actually happy.